as two pound-for-pound greats collide for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. Terence Crawford, the undefeated maestro with a 41-0 record, to challenge Saul Canelo Alvarez, a man who has ruled the 168-pound division with unshakable dominance.
The time has come. Las Vegas.
They spent a lifetime to prepare for this fight.
Just surfaced online, the brand new Netflix docuseries Countdown Canelo vs. Crawford has fans losing their minds. But this isn't just another flashy fight promo. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because this is going to be a good one. And I once again have to ask, seriously, as a boxing fan, when was the last time we got this kind of raw, unfiltered access to two of the greatest fighters of our era?
Fighters on a whole nother level.
Netflix isn't just streaming a fight, they're scripting history in real time. What makes Countdown Canelo vs. Crawford so compelling is how Netflix positions the fighters as living archetypes. On one side, you have Saul Canelo Alvarez, Mexico's golden son, the face of boxing, a man whose career is defined by discipline, power, and an iron will that has made him nearly untouchable at super middleweight. He embodies superstardom, the lavish lifestyle, the belts, the pay-per-view dominance, and yet his reputation is still shadowed by whispers that he struggles against slicker, smaller opponents. And across from him stands Terence "Bud" Crawford, the Omaha-born technician who has carved out his legacy not by being the loudest or the flashiest, but by dismantling every opponent who dared step in his way. Crawford isn't just a fighter. He's a chess player in the ring, a switch-hitting mastermind whose adaptability makes him dangerous in every second of every round. Netflix is painting this fight not as a simple clash of styles, but as an inevitable collision of legacies. It's not just about who wins, it's about proving which path to greatness ultimately stands taller.
This will be the biggest spectacle in the history of boxing.
And while Netflix tells the story in polished high definition, Crawford himself is supplying the raw material. A video surfaced showing him mid-training session with promoter Turki Alalchik, thanking him for making this fight a reality. Turki's response? Cold and sharp. You must deliver the job. That single moment lit up boxing forums, with fans realizing the pressure on Crawford isn't just about belts. It's about expectation, reputation, and the weight of history.
You must
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah.
The job ain't done yet.
Yeah. It's Saturday, deliver the job.
But listen, I appreciate the opportunity.
No retirement.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
Then came the Instagram post that broke the internet. Crawford, shirtless, shredded, and captioning it with, "8 days and we ready." The reaction was instant. Fans claimed he looked like a light heavyweight. Joe Rogan jumped into the comments in disbelief, and analysts who doubted his ability to move up in weight suddenly had to reconsider. For years, Bud's brilliance has been undeniable, but questions lingered. Could he carry his power to super middleweight? Now, with every photo and every sparring clip, those doubts are being replaced by shock at just how comfortably he seems to be making the jump.
Every fight is different. There are so many perspectives and so many things that go on, and not to reveal everything, but that fight was that fight. This fight for Canelo, man, like, it's not fight night yet, but him moving up, people are going to be surprised. Dude is not like, it's not like he's a small guy and he just putting on a whole bunch of weight. Like, Bud is, he's a bigger friend. He always been bigger.
Steven Nelson, Crawford's longtime friend and sparring partner, put it bluntly. Bud was always naturally bigger, but he spent his career cutting down. This time, he's growing into his real size. For Nelson, the critics don't matter. Crawford has been sparring bigger fighters for years, and none of them ever left the gym with bragging rights.
He always had to cut down. He always had to cut down to them weights. So now he gets the difference from this fight is he won't have to cut down. He just go in the ring. You look at all this weights for all the other fights, it's 168, 170. So when he fought 154, he was like 170, 172 going in the ring. So he gonna go in there the same way this fight. But he's strong, man. He's strong.
Here's where the fight world divides. On one side, the skeptics, analysts who argue that no matter how sharp Crawford looks, stepping into the ring with a naturally bigger, battle-tested Canelo is a risk bordering on reckless. They say physics doesn't lie. Crawford's speed may survive, but his punches won't have the same sting at 168. Others go further, predicting he'll spend 12 rounds on the back foot, trying to survive rather than dominate. But Crawford's camp isn't having it.
All those doubters, at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, they all gonna cry when they get home. You know, and I get that.
What time is it? What time is it? Terence Crawford!
Steven Nelson has been the loudest defender, dismissing the weight concerns outright. He insists Crawford's frame has always been built for bigger divisions, and that the only reason Bud hasn't shown this side of himself sooner is because he never had the opportunity. People think he's gonna run, Nelson scoffs. Wait until they start making excuses after. And while critics debate, the buzz only grows louder because on the other side of this fight, Canelo's camp isn't playing games either. While Crawford's camp feeds social media with grit and grind, Netflix has been busy reminding fans why Canelo Alvarez is still boxing's ultimate superstar.
I really love it, yeah. How much is that one?
It's a little bit more expensive. This is 550,000.
How much is this?
900,000.
Yeah, I want this one.
Do you want to take it with you now or send it to you?
No, now.
Okay, 900,000 and this 1 million.
Give me that one too.
This is my.
Oh.
$1.4 million.
I have $1.4 million in my hand. I want this one too. Okay.
One clip from the docuseries shows him casually dropping $1.4 million on a diamond-studded watch before boarding a private jet back to Guadalajara. For most fighters, that kind of excess would feel like a distraction. But for Canelo, it's branding. It's the larger-than-life aura he's built over 2 decades. The belts, the fame, the fortune, and the swagger that tells opponents they're not just fighting a man, they're fighting an empire. But don't mistake the luxury for laziness.
Let's go, baby.
Behind the flashy scenes, Canelo has been grinding in camp, and his choice of sparring partners raised eyebrows. Like bringing in young killers like Jaron Boots Ennis, a slick, switch-hitting phenom known for speed and awkward angles, Canelo is signaling he's preparing for Crawford's style, not just relying on brute strength. That decision alone caught the attention of boxing legend Roy Jones Jr., who admitted after watching Canelo's camp that the fight suddenly felt much harder to call.
I'm not saying I'm leaning towards him. I love both guys. Both guys are great fighters. Well, I can't say I'm leaning. I am leaning toward Crawford. I am, and not because Canelo is not a great fighter, but because I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows about Canelo. You feel me? So I don't know if Canelo is hungry. I know Bud is hungry. Bud stays hungry. I don't know if Canelo's hungry. Bud has never got the recognition for what he deserves like Canelo has. You understand me? So Bud is still hungry for that recognition. When you're hungry like that, a determined man, it's very hard to detour.
It's one thing to dominate fighters who stand in front of you, but taking on a slippery technician like Crawford requires adjustments. And Netflix is capturing every second of those adjustments, turning training into high-stakes drama. Of course, no super fight comes without baggage. And for Canelo, the ghosts of his past continue to follow him into every mega event. The Floyd-Mayweather fight from 2013 has resurfaced in headlines, with critics reviving the narrative that Canelo was cherry-picked as a 23-year-old star in the making who was still too raw to beat a defensive genius like Floyd. Some pundits frame that loss as a stain on his resume, a reminder that when faced with a master technician, Canelo can be outthought and outmaneuvered. But here's the truth Netflix subtly reinforces. Canelo himself demanded that fight. He wasn't forced into it. At just 23, he wanted the challenge, wanted the name, and accepted the risk, something most stars in his position would have avoided. That kind of fearlessness shaped the fighter he became afterward, and dismissing it as cherry-picking ignores the reality of his ambition. Still, analysts are whispering that history could repeat itself. If Crawford pulls off the upset, critics will be quick to rewrite the narrative, saying Canelo underestimated him, that he was slowing down, or that it wasn't a fair fight to begin with. It's a dangerous undercurrent that hangs over the promotion. Even victory or defeat might not be enough to silence the noise. As fight night approaches, the predictions are rolling in, and they couldn't be more divided.
I would say early in the fight, Canelo, and earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations?
Max Kellerman, one of boxing's most respected voices, has admitted Crawford checks nearly every box: skill, IQ, adaptability, even momentum. But Kellerman still gives the edge to Canelo based on one factor that can't be ignored: size. Canelo has been at 168 for years, taking shots from monsters and walking them down. Crawford may have the skill, but can he take that kind of punishment from a true super middleweight?
Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? Let me explain this. So, pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Then there's Timothy Bradley, never one to play it safe. Bradley isn't just picking Crawford. He's going all in with a bold prediction. Crawford smashes Canelo. He'll knock him out, and it'll go down as one of the greatest performances in boxing history. Statements like that light a fire in the fan base, fueling debates across social media. And while the experts weigh in, the fighters themselves are listening.
It's a big fight, and it's a fight that I'm looking at closely because after I dispatch of Conor Benn for the second time, either one of those two men, in Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, I would love to share the ring with 2026. I want the biggest fights. I want the fights that the fans want to see. And Canelo Alvarez is the name in the sport right now.
Chris Eubank Jr. has already hinted that he's watching closely, with his eyes on a 2026 showdown against the winner. It adds another wrinkle to the hype. This fight doesn't just decide legacies, it sets the stage for the next wave of super fights. Meanwhile, fan chatter is as divided as the pundits. Crawford's shredded physique has convinced many he looks like a natural light heavyweight, while others believe Canelo's camp isn't pushing as hard as they should. It's a mix of hype, speculation, and doubt. Exactly the cocktail Netflix is counting on to keep audiences hooked. All of Canelo's hardware is on the line. The ring title, IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO belts. But this fight isn't just about belts. It's about something deeper. For Canelo, it's the chance to prove he's still the king of super middleweight, still the face of boxing, and still capable of shutting down any challenger, no matter how dangerous. Defeating Crawford wouldn't just preserve his throne, it would silence critics who say he's ducked smaller, slicker fighters in the past. For Crawford, the stakes might be even higher. If he pulls this off, he won't just be a multi-division champion. He'll be the man who dared to do what most fighters wouldn't even dream of. Becoming undisputed across 3 weight classes would cement his name among the greatest in history, on the same tier as legends like Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran. It's about proving the impossible can be achieved with skill, preparation, and a little bit of madness. September 13 isn't just another date on the boxing calendar. It's a night where 2 careers, 2 legacies, and 2 philosophies of fighting collide. And when the first bell rings, the belts will almost feel secondary to the question that matters most. Who truly rules the pound-for-pound throne? So here we are. Netflix has set the stage. The fighters are sharpening their weapons, and the world is holding its breath. From Canelo's superstar lifestyle and powerhouse training camp to Crawford's transformation into a seemingly bigger, stronger version of himself, every moment feels like it's leading toward destiny. September 13 isn't just a fight, it's boxing's biggest question, finally demanding an answer. Will Canelo cement his empire, proving size, power, and legacy are unbeatable? Or will Crawford shock the world yet again, rewriting history with one of the most daring victories ever seen in the sport? One thing's certain, when the lights go down in Las Vegas, history won't just be written, it'll be rewritten. Let us know your thoughts in comments below.
If he were to beat you, how damaging would that be to the Canelo brand?
He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be in the books of the history of boxing for sure. That's for sure.
All right, guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content. And check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.